right, so today we're working on Chapter 7, Section 2, which is solving multi-step equations, and some notes you've got to write down before we get started are on this slide right here, so write these in your notes. The steps to solve a multi-step equation are as follows. Number 1, use the distributive property. Number 2, combine like terms. Number 3, undo addition or subtraction. And number 4, undo multiplication or division. Now the nice thing is we're already familiar with steps 3 and 4. We've been doing this with two-step equations. Remember we did our order of operations in reverse, so we undid addition and subtraction first, and then we undid multiplication or division. Now we're just adding on steps 1 or 2. So we're building on what we know. We're adding 2 new things, but we're already familiar with the distributive property. We're already familiar with combining like terms. So we're just putting all those skills together here. So pay attention, we've got 3 examples today. Write this first one down. M plus 2m minus 4 equals 14. I've got our 4 steps in the corner here to follow along. And remember the equal sign separates the 2 sides, so separate your 2 sides. What I want to point out with these 4 steps is that you might not always use every step. So it's implied that you only do step 1 if necessary. You only do step 2 if necessary, so on and so forth. So let's take a look at step 1. Distributive property. Well, I know I only use the distributive property if I have parentheses, and there's absolutely no parentheses here, so I don't need to do step 1 in this problem. So I'm going to skip right down to step 2, combine like terms. Look at each side separately, so let's just look at the left. Okay, I can see I've got an m and a 2m. But what do I want to circle with the 2m? Remember the sign that's in front of it. That 4 does not match with anything because it's a number. There's no other numbers on the left side. So m is really 1m. 1m plus 2m is 3m. And then just bring down the minus 4 and the equal sign. And then on the right side, we want to combine like terms, but there's nothing to combine. It's just 14, so I'm going to bring it down. All right, down with step 2. Now, step 3, we undo addition or subtraction. So look at your side with the variable. It's on the left this time. We've got a 3 and a 4 with it. The 3 is attached with multiplication. The 4 is attached with subtraction, so I want to move the 4 first. Since it's subtracting 4, I'll do the inverse, and I will add 4. And whatever I do on the left, I need to do on the right. So I'll bring down the 3m. Negative 4 plus 4 cancels. Bring down the equal sign, and 14 plus 4 is 18. Done with step 3. Now step 4, undo multiplication or division. This is 3 times m. So to undo it, I'm going to divide by 3, and whatever I do on the left, I do on the right. That way the 3's cancel, and I have m equals 18 divided by 3 is 6. And we have the variable by itself, so we know that we're done with the entire problem. As always, to guarantee that you're going to get 100% on the test, check your work. So we think that m equals 6. We need to plug it in this equation and see if this side equals this side. So everywhere I see an m, I am plugging in the number 6. So 6 plus 2. Remember, put parentheses around it because it's 2 times 6. Minus 4 equals 14. Let's just look at the left-hand side to start. Notice everything stayed the same except the m's were replaced with 6's. So on the left, I need to do multiplication first because that's my order of operations. So 2 times 6 would be 12. Now I have addition and subtraction. Remember, now you read from left to right. So 6 plus 12 would be 18. And then 18 minus 4 is 14. On the other side, we have nothing to do. It's just 14. This is a true statement, so it's correct. And we're done. Let's go on to the second example. Only 2 more. All right, step 1, use the distributive property. Let's see if it's necessary. Oops, I forgot. Separate your 2 sides of your equation. Is it necessary here? Yes, we have parentheses, and I cannot subtract 5x minus 3 because 5x is a letter. 3 is a number. So I need to distribute the 2 to the 5x and, to the 3. That's pointing to the 3, sorry. So 2 times 5x is 10x. Bring down the minus sign. 2 times 3 is 6. Bring down the equals and bring down the 14. We did step 1. Let's see if we need to do step 2, combine like terms. Well, on the left we have 10x, that's a letter, and 6, that's a number, so there's no like terms on the left. How about on the right? No, all we have is 14, so we don't even need to do step 2. Step 3 is undo addition or subtraction. Well, look on the side with the variable. The variable's on the left, as well as a 10 and a 6. Since the 6 is attached with subtraction, that's the number I want to move first. And since it's minus 6, I'll do the inverse and I will add 6 to both sides. Bring down the 10x. The negative 6 plus 6 cancels. Bring down the equal sign, and 14 plus 6 is 20. We did step 3, and last step 4, undo multiplication or division. Well, this is multiplication, so we are going to divide by 10 on both sides. That way the 10's cancel. I bring down the x and the equal sign, and 20 divided by 10 is 2. So I think that x is equal to 2, and as always, check your work. So if x is 2, everywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in a 2. So this will be 2 parentheses 5. Instead of x, I'm putting times 2 minus 3, and I want to see if that's equal to 14. Let's look at one side at a time. Let's just do the left-hand side. So I need to do parentheses first, but within the parentheses, I have multiplication and subtraction. Remember, multiplication comes first. So it'll be 2 parentheses. I'm going to do this. 5 times 2 is 10. Bring everything else down the way that it appears. And then we have parentheses still, so 10 minus 3 would be 7. Keep it in parentheses and bring down the 2. And then 2 times 7 is 14. On the right-hand side, we can't do anything. It's already by itself, so 14 equals 14. That's a true statement, so we are correct. All right, the last example. This is the one you might want to try by yourself. We are combining everything in this problem. We are going to do all 4 steps. So try it on your own and then check your work. All right, first, you should separate the 2 sides of your equation. Can we use the distributive property? Yes, on the right side we can because we have parentheses. So I'm distributing the negative 3 to the 4y and to the 2. So that'll be on the left-hand side, I can just bring down the 38 because I can't simplify or distribute anything on that side. And then I'll bring down the equal sign. Negative 3 times 4y is negative 12y. Bring down the plus, and then negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And then bring down the plus y. Everything stayed the same. I just distributed the negative 3 to the 4y and to the 2. Remember, when you distribute, it means that you multiply. Okay? All right, we did step 1. Step 2, combine like terms. Well, on the left-hand side, clearly we don't have any like terms, so I'll just bring that down. On the right, we have a negative 12y, and that matches with the y. But remember, you've got to circle what's in front of it as well. So that's a plus y. And remember, when it's just y, it's really 1y. So negative 12 plus 1 is negative 11, and I put the y with it. Now the plus negative 6 is the only number on the right-hand side, so I just bring it down because there's nothing to combine with it. Okay, we're done with step 2, so we go on to step 3. Undo addition or subtraction. Well, the negative 11 is attached to the y with multiplication, so we don't want to touch that yet. We want to move the negative 6. I know that it says plus negative 6. Don't let that confuse you. Let's just look at what's directly in front of the 6, a negative. We want to do the opposite of that one sign, which is positive or plus. Some people are looking at both signs in front of it. That's going to confuse you. Just look at the sign directly in front. It's a negative, so the opposite is a positive. So we're doing plus 6. And whatever we do on the right, we've got to do on the left. So we have 38 plus 6, which is 44. Bring down the equal sign, bring down the negative 11y, and the negative 6 plus 6 cancels. And then we have multiplication here, so we need to divide by whatever is attached to the y, which is a negative 11. And I need to do the same on the left-hand side. So 44 divided by negative 11 is negative 4. Bring down the equal sign, the negative 11's cancel, and then we have y on the right-hand side. By the way, when you have equations, you do not need to flip these. It's only beneficial if you have an inequality sign. So we can leave this alone. So now I'm taking -4 and I'm plugging it in to check our work. I'm sorry. Did I write the wrong answer here? Yes, this should be -4, not 2. So let me change that. Y was -4. That's a Y. So we have y equals -4, and we're plugging it into our equation here to see if it's correct. So I have everything's going to stay the same, except when I get to the y, instead of y, I'm putting in -4 plus 2 plus, here's another y, so I put -4 again. Same thing. Notice everything stayed the same, except for those y's changed to -4s. Because that's what I think that the answer is. So on the left, clearly we have 38. We don't need to do anything. So let's look on the right. Order of operations says parentheses are first. Well, within the parentheses, we have multiplication and addition. So clearly I need to do the multiplication first. So this will be -3, and then 4 times -4 is -16 plus 2 plus -4. Now I can finish the parentheses here. Bring down the -3, and then -16 plus 2 is -14, and then bring down the plus -4. Now we have multiplication and addition. I need to do the multiplication first, so -3 times -14 is 42, and then plus -4 is my last step, which is 38. On the left-hand side, we don't have anything to do. I just bring down the 38. These are equal. So that is correct.